Welcome to Worthy of Note, the podcast where one overthinking girly shares her various musings about the world with the world. I'm your host, Lauren Carlton. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Worthy of Note. Glad you're here. I don't know if you can hear my microphone may be picking it up, but it is howling. It is literally howling. It's huffing and blowing down the house outside because I live in Missouri. I live like in the good old Midwest. And currently we are expecting temperatures, the high temperature to be 8 degrees. 8, a singular digit. What's 64 divided by 8? And not in the cute, oh, you ate that. 8. This is the one time that 8 is just not my favorite number. It's not a compliment. And I feel like I don't think this climate change is crazy. Like, and you know what? And I know this is sorry, I just bumped this microphone. I didn't mean to do that, but like I feel like this is for sure several people unfortunately are probably using what's happening right now, this weather friggin' tundra that we're living in, as a justification for climate change not existing. And I'm just really sad. Like, not only am I like freezing, but I'm also just like, damn, I know somebody out here just using this to their very, very, very fallacious logic to justify this stuff. So that was really dark. Sorry, my bad. But welcome. Currently where I'm at, if you periodically hear any like or anything like that, that's the outside. It's the wind. It's the colors of the wind. That's what it is. I can't control it, so sorry. Anyway, how's everybody doing? I am in a really good mood, actually. I am sipping on some, what is it called? I think it's called like Sunburst or something. It's the Aldi version of Sprite. 12 pack for $3.97 where I'm at. Pretty solid, because for some reason, and I don't know if this is like something that other people have experienced, probably because it's inflation, and inflation is just a fiend, and it's just, oh my god, it's just affecting everybody. But like Sprite, like name brand Sprite, has gone like skyrocketed at every place that I've been to here, and like really anywhere. Like I remember it being like $4.50, $5 for a 12 pack, if not less. But now places that I'm going, I'm seeing $8.50, $8.99, $10 at Target maybe, or like some specialty store. I'm seeing 12 packs go for that much, and I'm like, that's a meal. Like, why would I pay that much for a name brand when I could literally get a Chipotle bowl for that exact same price? That's 2 meals right there. If you know, you know. So yeah, like I don't know what's happening, but I decided to go ahead and get some. I don't buy Sprite anymore unless it's like a single bottle or something. But even those are kind of expensive. So I'm like, best bang for your buck is Sunburst or whatever it's called, in the green and blue can from Aldi. It has a very robust flavor profile, and I actually really enjoy it. Not as much as Sprite, but I love a good lemon lime seltzer soda, anything like that. It's very fresh. Anyway, but yeah, I'm doing really great. I am just some updates about me. I had my very first therapy appointment 2 days ago. It's a lot. We went over a lot in that session, but I know it's going to be good for me, and my therapist seems super cool. So, and that's something that I definitely feel like can be hard for people to find. a lot of times one of the main reasons, I think, at least in my experience and like with people that I've talked to when they're trying to find help for their mental health, is finding a therapist to begin with. Like, one deterrent that they have is like, one, finding a therapist, and two, like wanting the motivation to like basically trauma dump for like the first 2 sessions, because that's what you're doing, because they need to like do an intake and like see if they're suitable for you, can actually like are qualified to be able to treat you. And even if they are, they still need to understand like why you need therapy. And a big part of that is just you telling them every awful, horrible thing that you've been through. So, I mean, obviously people go to therapy even if they haven't had trauma. I think pretty much every person should go to therapy, because we could all use some, professional advice on like how to communicate better and like how to relate to people better. But like, when you need therapy for when you got 23 years of trauma, like there's just a lot to go through. So yeah, it was a little heavy, but I'm super happy and excited about it. So that's gonna be a weekly occurrence, and I'm really grateful that I'm able to actually get therapy, because it's something that I feel like we all need. It's like many things, it's something that I feel like we all need, but is unfortunately just not widely accessible. So grateful that I'm able to start it. It's just been really weird this week. It's been like devilishly cold, which I know sounds ironic, but it's just like, I feel like, what? Like, I just feel, again, like, also wind chills are supposed to be -30. Hello? I'm sorry. I don't think that's possible. It shouldn't be possible. But it is, apparently, according to the Weather Channel. So, and I do trust them with my life. So, I'm going to be bundling up quite a bit. But I'm excited. I'm excited about this week. I'm excited about the weekend. I'm going to go see Mean Girls tomorrow, the new Mean Girls movie. I don't know if you guys have been seeing the advertising about it, but it's literally everywhere. I don't know how I feel about it, because part of me is like, don't mess. Like, there's this really weird, like, Renaissance era tins across the board, not like that, but like like this renaissance of like nostalgia. Like, I think there's so many reboots because people are trying to capitalize off of just the nostalgic feelings that people get, especially people who are like older Gen Z or mid Gen Z. Like, I'd say like ages 21 to like 27. I would say people are really trying to capitalize on the nostalgia that we're all feeling right now, because things are hard and we're like entering, this is just my theory, this could totally be like incredibly incorrect, but like I feel like people are trying to capitalize on the feelings of the people who are now entering the workforce. They're adults now, they're leaving college, they're having to figure out like work and taxes and finances and feeding themselves, like all this other stuff. And I think a lot of us are really craving the just blissfully ignorant times of our childhood when we were watching That's So Raven, and which is a really, really place. Not me, because I wasn't allowed to, which we will get into later. But just like all the good like fun vibes that we had in the early to like late 2000s, like I feel like we're really longing for that time. And during that time, that was like peak cinema. We had The Notebook come out, we had Mean Girls come out in 2004, we had a lot of like the big franchises of movies coming out later in the like the early 2010s, like The Hunger Games, which I am about to talk about. Like, so we had all of this stuff, all of these like really big moments in pop culture and film and media and cinema, and it's just like I feel like these companies don't have any original ideas anymore, so they're just trying to capitalize off of the things that people loved when they were little. And like, get your bag, sure, whatever, but I do think like, I don't know, it doesn't always work, and it often doesn't. So like, in that I don't know. I just feel like something should be left alone. But one of my coworkers invited me out. Shout out to you, Caitlin. One of my coworkers invited me out to go see it along with some other coworkers as well. So I'm excited. I'm gonna go see it tomorrow. I'm gonna brave the freaking Arctic North, freaking devilishly cold weather that we have and do it, because it is a movie. I'm sure it's going to be entertaining, if anything else, or if nothing else rather. So speaking of the Renaissance era of cinema and all of these things, I have been obsessed. I've been hyperfixating to like the nth degree on the Hunger Games series, specifically the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It's still very much in its heyday right now, and like people are still talking a lot about it. I've been seeing people like every day, really. I check YouTube because one of my favorite things to do is watch YouTube videos, specifically like movie reactions and commentaries. And every day almost, it feels like I've looked up. No, it literally is. I've looked online on YouTube to see another movie reaction video from some creator that I don't know at all, but it's literally like every creator it feels like is reacting to this movie or this franchise in general. Like I have seen so many like movie reactions and like book reactions, and I've been listening to podcasts about it. I'm obsessed with podcasts. I don't know what it is, but that's all the only media that I've been consuming for like the past month has been Hunger Games related. If you are not interested in the Hunger Games, I did put chapters in the description. You can skip ahead because this is gonna be a lot. We gonna get into the weeds, and it's spoilers probably. Coriolanus Snow, just to give a little bit of a review of the movie or summary. Coriolanus Snow, he is like the main villain in the Hunger Games, one of the biggest villains in book history, basically, in dystopia YA novels. And he is basically, this is a prequel book, so it is set 60 years before the 74th annual Hunger Games, or 64 years rather, which is Katniss Everdeen's, my girlie, that's her Hunger Games, the one who started it all. And basically the Hunger Games are busty, musty, rusty, and crusty. They are like the epitome of like makeshift, like their arena is a room. It's not an arena, it's a gymnasium. That's what it's giving. It's giving fancy, like, private school gymnasium. That is what it looks like. There's very little interest in watching the games because children are dying and being forced to kill each other, but which like you shouldn't want to watch that anyway, but especially among the Capitol, like people are just finding it really hard to be interested in watching the Hunger Games because it's only been going on for 10 years and it's literally just like the goriest thing ever. It's like it ends really quickly. I was like reading into all the lore. There's this one guy on YouTube that like does like what the Hunger Games, like makes up stories about each year of the Hunger Games, which I've dived so deep into. He does a really great job of it. But like all the like first Hunger Games, like the first 10 years, like ended in like 3 hours. Like one was like 40 minutes, like everybody was dead because there's nowhere to hide in this arena, like in this room, in this glorified gymnasium. So basically, Coriolanus stars as the main character. He's basically been assigned to be a mentor, which, if you know what the Hunger Games is, they're basically the people who kind of advise the tributes before they get into their arena, and they try to help them get sponsors and all that other stuff. But at this point, sponsors weren't a thing. The interviews for the tributes weren't a thing. Like, there was no spectacle about it. The tributes were treated like absolute shit. And so, like, it just wasn't appealing at all. So Coriolanus's job, as well as all the other mentors this year, this is the first year that there are mentors, is to make a spectacle out of the game so that people actually want to keep watching it, because ratings are down. Like nobody's watching cable anymore, like nobody's tuning in for the 5 o'clock show, like nobody cares. So they're trying to make sure that people keep watching, because otherwise the Hunger Games is not going to be a thing, and like that defeats the whole purpose. So Coriolanus's tribute is Lucy Greybeard, also my girl, also Katniss's grandmother. I believe it. I'm sorry, I believe it. She definitely changed her identity and came back to District 12 like 3 or 4 years later after being quote unquote shot in the forest. We'll get to that. But yeah, I definitely think there's so much of a relation. There's a blood relation. Okay. Anyways, but essentially she's like this really big performer, and she was put into the reaping because her boyfriend was lying and cheating, and the co-cheater put her name in the, like, basically scheduled or like rigged the reaping so that she would be put in the games. So that's like the short version of it. Basically Coriolanus's job is to like advise her. He like quote unquote falls in love with her, with people, which people are like kind of on the fence about if he actually did fall in love with her, if he really loved her. I don't believe he did. I think he loved the idea of her and how she made him feel and like what she could do for him, but never like, and I'm rereading the books, right? I'm reading the book right now, and like even in the earlier stages of like when he's just meeting her, like the quotes of like, there's this one quote where he's like, I went to kiss her hand and I felt a tingle or whatever. And it's like, it's not like what he's doing for her. It's like, not like, oh my God, I'm going to kiss my maiden's hand. Like, this is a period, you know, like I'm serving her. It's literally all for show. And it's like, ooh, she makes me feel good. You know what I mean? So, and also he's a teenager, so hormones, but yeah, he's also like a hormonal teenager who also turns dictator. Like I can believe that. Anyway, so yeah, so I eventually, obviously, like the movie, I'm not going to go through the whole entire movie. I really suggest, there's so many people who can do it way better than I can, because I will be here for like an hour and a half just going over the summary, because I'm very long-winded, as you can tell. So I'm just going to like leave it there. But basically, Snow descends into madness. He makes a bunch of really, really questionable, interesting choices throughout the movie. And then at the end, he just has turned bad. That results in who he is at the end, and then subsequently who he is when we see him in Katniss's era of games. I really think it would have been great if we had an internal monologue. I don't know if this would have been possible, but if we had Tom Blythe, my man, do an internal, that man is so fine. I'm so sorry. Him and Sejanus, and what's his name? Jessup. That man, okay, not when he had rabies. I am not into that. Okay, I'm so sorry for the rabid people who are listening to this. That's terrible. Please get help. But also, like, I'm not into the foam. I'm so sorry. But when in interviews, like in cast and show interviews, can you tell how much I've been diving into this? I've been diving deep. But like in interviews and stuff, that man is so fine. Look up a picture. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm gonna control myself. But the whole cast was just so unnecessarily attractive, and I think that's one issue that I have with this. But it makes sense, is that they made a dictator attractive. And yes, he's attractive in the book, and like he survives by his like charms or whatever, but it's just like, I think by making him such a heartthrob, like, oh my God, so fine, his British person, everybody's missing the point of the actual games, because they're like, ooh, I'm simping for him. Like, yeah, you can control me, you can dictate me. Like people are literally being like, yeah, Lucy Gray, like, I would have ran back and talked things out. Like, he would have got me because he's so fine. Like, I get it. Okay, I'm here for it. But I think that is just showing how much people, like, will, like, definitely ride for somebody who's more attractive and has the privilege of being, like, super attractive. regardless of like, they will definitely like go to great lengths to defend them and their actions, even if they are a literal dictator. It would have been nice if we had like an internal monologue from Coriolanus in the movies. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have seen You, the TV show with Joe from You. Like, you know, but basically one of the main like, you know, things that I think sets apart the that TV show, apart from like all other types of like, you know, fatal attraction type of films and media, is that we hear like what Joe's thoughts are. It's infuriating to hear how he tries to justify murdering people. And I feel like Coriolanus is like so similar in that regard. Ooh, You in Hunger Games crossover? What? That will be interesting. Anyway, nobody take that idea. If somebody takes that idea, like, y'all heard it here first, so run me my check. An inner monologue would not have been that difficult to implement. I do think, though, that it would be hard. It may have taken the seriousness out of it. But I do think, like, Francis Lawrence, who is the director of this film and the entire Hunger Games franchise, I do think he's clever enough to be able to do it in a tasteful way, in an effective way, and in a way that lets people who haven't read the book be less sympathetic to Coriolanus and, you know, understand where he's coming from. And I think that was a big issue, is that everybody was just like, thought he was way more like kind of a person than he was, and a lot of people felt like his big switch at the end was like super rushed, and I felt like that even with the books personally. But I feel like there should have been more of a build up to that, but especially it's very, very prevalent in the book. In the film. Like, it just seems like he just randomly like switched like within like 3 minutes. And so I feel like being able to see his internal monologue and see how shitty of a person he's been from the beginning, like, it would have been way better, and it would have made it a lot harder to like find him attractive. Because I don't know about y'all, but like, yes, I was eyeing Thomas while I was watching the movie. I was like, okay, he's an attractive young man. The buzz cut did a little something. That being said, I still, having read the book, I still was like, I'm not supposed to like him, because, and I know what he's thinking in these moments, even though we don't hear it in the movie. Like, I know what he's thinking. I know his motivations, and it was like, I was starting to find him unattractive, like, as the movie went on, which is what is supposed to happen and would happen if you were reading the books. So I don't know. I personally, I just feel like it could have been adapted a little bit better. We could have done something like, or maybe added more. There was a lot changed, and I get it. It's because I'm just trying to chalk it up to the nature of making a movie out of a book. Like, it's just what has to happen. But I think it was doable to put some sort of driving factor or like some sort of nod to be able to understand what Coriolanus was thinking and like, you know, what his motivations were. I think that was like the main glaring issue for me personally. Now we're gonna get to how I would rank the Hunger Games. So I have read all the books several times, including, well, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes I've only read once. I'm currently in a reread of it right now. But the other 3 I've read several times. I've read all of them. So I'm going to rank the books and then rank the movies, because I have very different rankings based on the books and the movies. So books, my ranking is going to be The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Catching Fire, and then Mockingjay. For the books. Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, for the books. That should be noted. So I'll give a brief explanation and then we'll go on to the movies. I personally think The Hunger Games itself, like The Hunger Games, the original book, is great as a standalone book. I think the last line of the book is like, I dread when Katniss is like holding on to Peeta's hand as they're in the train station arriving back into District 12 after they've just won. And the last line of the book, I think, is like, and I just cling to him, dreading the moment when I have to finally let go. That is a very powerful line in and of itself, because that just shows like you know, Katniss's plight that she's in now, of where she's like, I don't know how I feel about this boy, and like, even I literally risked my life for him several times in the arena, blah 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 blah. But like, I think that as a standalone, it is very good. Like, there did not need to be any other books after that. Like, if coming from objectively just as a book by itself, not considering what we know about the other books, I think The Hunger Games is very good. I think the concept is great. I think it's very strong. I think there's a lot that can be done with it. It affected and it impacted pop culture so much, like irrevocably. Like, literally, I don't think there's ever going to be anything that was that big. Like, Divergent could never. I'm so sorry. So The Hunger Games, I think, is the best book, hands down. Ballad is second one, because I feel like it gave us so much background, and it really, really like made things make sense. Like, I started screaming when I went back and started listening to the other Hunger Games books, and like was rewatching the movies after I read the Ballad, and I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. Like, I was like, like, it was crazy. And I think that's good, because that's what a prequel should do. I think too often there are a lot of series that need a prequel and don't have one, and there's a lot that have a prequel and don't need one at all, and the prequel is completely useless. And this is not the case. This is definitely the former. I feel like it made so much sense. It explains everything, especially if you've read the books. Like, some of it kind of feels a little like, oh, so this is where sponsors came from, and like, it's like, oh, okay, so I see what they're trying to do. But like, I think that's the whole point, to like kind of show you how the games and why the games evolved from what they were. Like, I had no idea that they were the way that they were. So I think it's amazing. I think it's really good too, because it kind of, again, makes you want to sympathize, even with just the books, just the book. Like, I was like, damn, like, this man was starving too. Like, he had to witness cannibalism. Like, he had to witness all these other like horrors of the war, and it's like kind of seeing what things look like from the other side. I still don't sympathize with the Capitol kids and how they were talking about, oh, they're trash, they're scum, and all this other stuff. Like, I don't like that. But I'm like, no, y'all suck. Y'all are trifling as hell, calling people animals and shit. Like, I just terrible. But like, it makes you it helps you understand. It doesn't help you sympathize, but it helps you understand. Catching Fire was my next one. I love that book. And don't get me wrong, like, all of these books are amazing. I think they're very well written. Suzanne Collins is such a good writer. She's so artful and tactful with how she writes her characters and writes her scenes and all that other stuff. Catching Fire, I think, is a good middle book, and which is why it's in the middle of this ranking, because I think it's very, like, it elaborates on a lot of things. Like, it introduces new things and new characters, but it doesn't really like build much of anything. Like, it starts to slowly build, like, at the end, when like you see Katniss, like, the district is destroyed and like she's gonna be the Mockingjay. Like, you start to see that. And you start to see the little pieces of like rebellion throughout, like with the, tributes gathering together and banding together to do this big rebellion in the games, like, and not being in on it, like all this other stuff. But I do think it's a very good building block. And it also adds more characters that I think we're going to be sad to lose later. Lastly, Mockingjay. Mockingjay is the last book. It's at the bottom of this ranking. Here's the thing. I actually really enjoy Mockingjay. I find myself going back to it the most when I'm rereading or when I'm trying to listen to the audiobook. But I think it's just like, I think there's just so much. I like the ending, and I liked, how we got there. I just feel like it very much is like the ultimate, like it's just like, it is very much an ending book, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, I felt like I wanted more, like I wanted more to see more of Katniss and Peeta's life after the games. I feel like we kind of just skipped to the epilogue and we're like, okay, like they're married and they have 2 kids now. It's like, I wish we could have seen more of like her choosing to have kids. I feel like the end was a little bit rushed. I do think that this did a really, really good job of like depicting what PTSD, what depression looks like crippling depression, what anxiety looks like. Katniss has like several panic attacks throughout this book, and I'm like, girl, I know you, I feel you, I know you. And it's just like, it's very well written. Again, every one of these books is well written, but I just think I find myself like wanting more, and I think what I wanted was kind of what Ballad gave me, if that makes any sense, even though it had nothing to do with Katniss. I mean, it did, like in the subtext it did, but like even though Katniss wasn't anywhere in the novel, in the Ballad, I do think it gave me more of that world that I needed. I just wish Mockingjay could have been longer, and I feel like the ending was a little bit rushed, and like it needed more, yeah, in order to be higher in my ranking. I would say for the movies, I would rank Catching Fire best movie. I think visually it's the best. I think casting wise it is the best. I think just like adaptation, like book to movie adaptation, it is the best. It's amazing. Like the Hunger Games are my comfort movies. I don't think you guys understand. This is crazy, but the Hunger Games are literally my comfort movies, even though it's literally about child murder. These are like the movies I go to when I like just want to watch something and like just want to relive an era of my life that I like loved. When I was reading on my little Kindle, it had to ask to get credits added onto my Kindle so I could buy these books. Like that was literally like, yeah. So love Catching Fire, amazing. Second, which this may be a little bit of a controversial opinion, I'm gonna say Mockingjay Part 1. I say that because I personally loved, even though in the books it was a little bit slow for me, in the movies, I loved how they built up the rebellion and how they showed all of the districts getting on board with the rebellion, with the trees and blowing up the peacekeepers in District 7, the dam. That was such a powerful scene. Like, oh my God. There's so many parts about that movie that I can remember and like that stand out to me. Like I don't know why people say that it was so slow. Did y'all know how much happened there? Were y'all watching the same movie I was watching? We had a big ass rebellion. We had a big ass dam. We had like 40 peacekeepers blown to bits in some tree in a forest. We had several like executions. We had are you coming to the tray? Come on now. Don't sit here and tell me y'all ain't bumping that on the daily. Come on. You're lying. Like, I love that movie. I'm so sorry. I think it rightfully deserves, it gets way too much flack, and it rightfully deserves to be in the second place after Catching Fire. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I love this movie. I think the only things that are keeping I would personally say it ties with Mockingjay Part 1, but it's the only thing that's keeping it from being like that, like right, like tied, like truthfully and not, in the third place, is the fact that we don't get that inner monologue. We don't really get that juice. We don't really get, the motivations and thoughts of Coriolanus. I feel like that could have been done, but it wasn't. That's really the only thing. But other than that, it was beautiful. I love the design, the outfits, the Academy outfits. That I want to buy that and wear that unironically to work. And I want to see if anybody says anything, because if they do, I'm gonna be like, what? You mad that you don't look like this? No, I would never say that to anybody at work. I love all my coworkers, but like, I'll be like, child, don't you know? you just need to respect the drip. I'm so sorry. But those Academy outfits with the little skirts and the little red, I love a red moment. I would probably do it with like a dark green. I've been really into green lately. Maybe a dark green, like a forest green or a hunter green, or like, you know, black, of course, because that goes with everything. Anyway, that's sidetrack, but I really loved the design. I loved, you know, the changes that they did have to make. I did actually enjoy, like with Reaper and his speech of like, are you gonna punish me now? Like, that was very powerful. I actually started tearing up when he started like lining up all the bodies and like putting the capital flag on them. I just started crying because I was just like, yeah, it's too real. And it was very powerful. So the changes that were included, like I did actually like Hunger Games is the next one after Ballad. And the reason why I put it here, again, all these movies were phenomenal, so don't come for me. I put it here because the things that I don't like are that I wish the Hunger Games was longer. It could have been longer. The pacing was great, but I think they could have kept that pacing but added like another 30 minutes to the movie. These movies are long, but I feel like we could have benefited from longer, just like a little bit longer of a movie and adding more depth into it, because there was so much world building in the book for the Hunger Games, but comparatively with the film, like I feel like the first, like the reaping, like the day of the reaping was a lot more rushed. Like we went from Prim having a bad dream, her and Gale in the forest, and then boom, she's reaped. And it's just like, I don't know, I wish that there was more, like especially when it comes to like her getting the pin, like the Mockingjay pin. I feel like that's such a like pivot, like such an iconic symbol of this series, that I wish they would have kept the story of her getting it from Madge, the mayor's daughter, in it, because I think low-key also Madge was like, low-key I feel like she would have been a rebel. So I wish that it was like she just like kind of picked it up. Like, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't mean as much really because we don't see the real origin story of it. She just gets it from, I'm assuming, Greasy Say in the hub, but we didn't even hear it. Would have even been better if they would have been like, oh, it's Greasy Say, because Greasy Say was actually a prominent figure in Katniss's life because she traded with her and she ate at the Hob all the time. Like, even that would have been better, but she literally just got it from this random lady at the Hob at the beginning of the movie, and it was like a 5-second clip. And I don't know, maybe there's like a long version of these movies out there somewhere in the ether, but Francis Lawrence, run it back, okay? Release it. Release your job. Release your mind. Release your anger. Release the time. Yes. Do what Beyonce said. I'm sorry. Let us see it. Apparently there's like a 4.5 hour long version of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I will eat that shit up. I will sit in front of that screen. I don't care what I need to go. I will get my popcorn. I will sit in a movie theater that is like packed to the brim. I don't care. I will do it. Gladly, happily, to see that other missing hour and a half of film that we didn't get. So yeah, I wish Hunger Games was, but again, it's an amazing movie. It stands alone. But yeah, I don't know. I just wish that it had more from the book in it. And then lastly, Mockingjay Part 2 is here. I'm so sorry. I truly feel bad for putting it here, but actually no, I don't, because it's my opinion. It's here because I feel like it was a good ending to the series. It was a great final movie, but I think it also was a little bit rushed. I'm sorry, I don't know why, but I think it was too rushed. I think what could have happened is that they put, like, I'm very much a proponent of making a final book into 2 movies. I'm making any book into 2 movies. Like, I loved it, you know, and I think I think part one was the perfect length. Part two, I think, suffers because it's like you're cramming all the action into that last movie. And I don't know, all that action just kind of made it feel rushed to me. And also, the reason why I don't like it as much is because it's the end, or seemingly the end. I remember when my sister and I were in the theater, we saw all four of these movies together, by the way, except for the ballad. We weren't together for the ballad, and I'm so sad. But we literally left the theater. I remember feeling like I'm sad because it's the end. Like, what? I think, how old was I? I want to say I was like 16 when this came out and we went to go see it together. Like, I was just so distraught because I was like, what the hell? Like, do again, please do it again. Like, as I just didn't want the like world to not have any more to give us. Like, I loved it so much. So I guess it's not really like a bad thing about the movie. It's just that like it was the last one and I wish that it wasn't. I also think too, like, it would have been interesting if the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes came out at the same time as the others books, because like all the movies end with a cliffhanger except for the first one, really. And I think what really would have been cool is if after the first Hunger Games film, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes came out and we saw the origin story of Snow, and then we saw Catching Fire, and then and if they all were released in different ways, I honestly might go back and watch them in that order, because I think that'd be really interesting to kind of like see, because you have the first movie where you're like establishing the world, right? And then you go back in time to like how all of this was created and into the lore, right? And into the villain. Because honestly, I don't know about y'all, when I first saw the Hunger Games, I saw it in theaters, like when it was still in theaters. But to be fair, I was like, I don't know, 11 when it came out. And so like, I didn't really know anything. I hadn't read the books at this point either. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. But even still with that, like, I don't know who this man is. I'm sorry. It was giving very much Keke Palmer. I was like, sorry to this man. I don't know this man. Because with President Snow, like, I was just like, who is this angry Santa Claus that I'm looking at on my screen right now? Like, huh? Like, I was confused. I feel like it would have been really cool if if Suzanne wrote all of these books at the same time and then released them in a different order, in this order where like you have the introductory Hunger Games, right? And then it ends with Snow, and then the next movie that comes out is Ballad, and it shows you who Snow is, you know what I mean? And like why he's so important earlier in the game, or earlier in the earlier in the series. I think that would have been great, because then you'd be like, okay, going into Catching Fire, you'd be like, oh shit, like this guy is actually wicked. Like he's actually like very, very, very evil as a person. And I think that would have made you even more scared for Katniss throughout the rest of the series, because then you'd be like, oh, I know where this motherfucker came from. I'm sorry, like I know who he is, and I know what lengths he's willing to go in order to get what he wants. And I feel like it would have made a lot more sense seeing like his actions and like what he does to PETA and like all these, not justifying it at all, but just like it would explain like how a person can be so evil if they had done Hunger Games, then Ballad, then Catching Fire, Mockingjay, and Mockingjay Part 1 and 2 respectively. And then also it would have been like, oh, that's a callback, like Katniss. It's almost like it would be a build, if that makes any sense, up through to Catching Fire and showing like how much a rebel Katniss is gonna be. And like with the Mockingjays, like it would have been, oh my god, I love this idea. I'm sorry, I'm a genius. But like, I think this would be so cool. And I honestly might go, I think it's going to be an otherworldly experience, simply of another nation, of another galaxy, another universe, okay, whichever's the biggest one. If I were to go, like, of an experience, if I were to go and watch them in this order. So I recommend you guys do that. Go watch the Hunger Games. Go watch the Hunger Games, Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. Okay, that big ass title, but it's a big ass movie. It's a big ass book too. So I understand. It's literally the longest book in the series, I think. So understandable. Go watch Catching Fire, Mockingjay Part 1, Mockingjay Part 2. Do it in that order and then report back. And let me know let me know in the comments if you think, or in the show notes, wherever you're watching this or listening to this, sorry, what you think, like, about this idea of, like, if they all, I mean, obviously we can't know because, like, it didn't happen, but, like, if you think it would have been better if all of these were written together and released together, and then, like, when it comes to the books, and then released in this order of film. What do you think? I think it would be really cool. I think that would make so much sense. But maybe that's just maybe I'm the only one, and that's just how my brain works and operates. It's an interesting brain, so I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, I was going to talk about something completely different. But this might just be the Hunger Games episode. I think we're just going to have to do that. We do have an Am I the Asshole today. Today's Am I the Asshole post reads, Am I the asshole for being upset with my friend for gifting flights and a ticket to a concert? Mind you, this was posted an hour ago. I try to make sure that we do Am I the Assholes that are pretty recent. We could do the most recent and most relevant ones to you if you submit a link. The link is going to be in my Instagram bio, which is in the show notes. Please, if you would like, submit a question for advice or a scenario or a hypothetical, or a comment or whatever, and I will read it on the podcast, possibly. Am I the asshole for being upset with my friend for gifting flights and a ticket to a concert? My friend, 28 female, let's call her Ellie, and I, 31 female, have been friends for around 10 years. We initially connected through our love for music, art, gigs, and partying. Over time, we drifted, as friends often do, but always stayed in contact. In recent years, I've undergone significant changes. I was diagnosed with ASD, depression, and anxiety. Factors like COVID, a career change, lockdowns, and broader issues like climate and the economy, girls saying, contributed to my increased seclusion over time. I now work remotely most of the time with minimal in-person interactions except for my fiance, 30 female, supermarket visits, and the occasional office days. All of my friends and family live in different cities or states, so I rarely see them in person. Since the lockdowns lifted, I've attended social events a few times, struggling with overstimulation in busy and loud venues, occasionally leading me to leave early. A few months ago, Ellie and I reunited after several years of separation. Despite expecting a casual dinner and drinks to catch up about major life events like her recent separation from her wife, she was already hungover and eager for the pub, ordering rounds and not asking a single thing about me and my life, my job, or my fiance. Nothing. Instead, she vented about her recent situationship the whole night, which really caught me off guard as she was only a few weeks separated from her wife. As the night progressed, she kept trying to make me drink more, not letting me leave the venue, and even tried to convince me to get baking soda. What? Baking soda? Is that a euphemism? I don't know. And go to the nightclub. The night left me disappointed and questioning the nature of our friendship. Fast forward to Christmas Eve, my fiance and I learned that her father, living in a different country, has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. I'm very sorry. This news might require us to separate for several weeks or months. I confided in Ellie, who suggested I fly to her distant state to spend a week while my fiance is away. I tell her that I'm uncomfortable with leaving my house for an extended period, and having 2 fur babies, I explained I couldn't leave them alone for that long. Despite this, Ellie insisted I arrange for a house sitter, and I told her that I'd see what I could do and that I have no idea when this will be, as everything is up in the air right now. A week later, Ellie surprised me with tickets to see our favorite band from our younger years and a message saying she'd book my flight in 2 weeks. Initially, I was upset. She didn't ask me if I wanted to go. No mention at all. Plus, I know I've told her in the past that I couldn't go to a live show anymore as it's too overcrowded and too loud for me. A part of me feels like I should be grateful for this, but another part of me feels like she's just done this for herself. I will need to take time off work, arrange for a pet sitter for a week, all while my fiance is a 30-hour, ooh, girl, where's she live? Antarctica? Jeez. A 30-hour flight away. I didn't even know that existed. I thought you can get anywhere in the world. The longest plane flight would be like 24 hours. I don't know. I don't travel. I ain't got it like that. I'm sorry. Anyway, sorry. Supporting her family through the death of her father. Am I the asshole if I don't go? Okay. Let me take a little sip. So, I don't think that this person would be the asshole if she doesn't go to this concert. That being said, I don't think her friend's the asshole either. And I don't know if this poster is doing this, but I don't know if it's okay to judge someone for grieving the loss of one relationship with the introduction of another type of relationship. Situationship kind of sounds like it may have been something akin to like a hookup maybe, or just like a casual thing. And I don't think, like, I maybe could see if like she has now decided to get married to another person weeks after separating from her wife. I think that would be kind of crazy. That'd be kind of wild. I'd be like, girl, do we need an intervention? Like, yeah, that'd be kind of, you know, suspicious. Again, I wouldn't judge, but I would be like, this is a choice. But again, people grieve the loss of things, especially when it comes to relationships, very differently across the board. And so I feel like the fact that all she did was talk about her situationship and herself was a little bit, that sucks, right? But I don't think the fact that she has a situationship just a few weeks after is that alarming or that relevant, really. I also would say that, like, it sounds like the both of you have just drifted apart. I know you guys said that you were like really close, but people do change. People do become distant. People do get, especially as you get older, like you guys are in your late 20s, early 30s. I think that does tend to be the time when a lot of people like recognize like the types of friends who are going to be in their life for like, and like not all the time. Like I would say I can understand. I know who's going to be in my life forever. Like I know, right? But like usually that's the time when like you're 30, you're starting, you may be trying to settle down, you may be, you know, trying to start a family, and like you just have different values and different lifestyles than your other friends. And I'm not saying that that's a that's a reason to like have a break up with your friend, but I do think that definitely does cause distance, you know. And that sounds like what the situation is. And like maybe Ellie right now, she's grieving the loss of a relationship. So of a very deep relationship. It seemed like when you guys reconnected, she didn't really want to talk about the both of you and like want to know. I do think it makes sense though, because of the changes that she's going through and the separation. Like it makes sense. That doesn't justify it though, but it makes sense. But I don't think you'd be the asshole for like being upset about that. I don't think you'd be the asshole for being upset necessarily that she's inviting you to this concert either. It sounds like she's trying to comfort you like in a way that like only in a way that she knows how, with like, oh, like maybe to get your mind off of things, like we can go see this, you know, concert. And like maybe she forgot that you said that you are really not big into these events. I mean, you said you'd been separated for several years, so like maybe she didn't see that change and she didn't understand that, oh, maybe she wouldn't want to go do this, you know. I don't know. I don't think either of you are the asshole. I just think it sounds like you guys have drifted apart as friends, and it sounds like you need to have a conversation to assess and determine if this friendship is still something that is going to be beneficial for the both of you. And then 2, it just sounds like she's just trying to cheer you up, and she's not doing it in a way that actually would work for you. I think it'd also be good too if you guys decide to continue being friends to ask each other what each other's love languages is, because even if you think you know it or you talked about it earlier in your friendship, love languages change. Like I wasn't really a physical touch person for a while. It was usually quality time and words of affirmation, but as I've gotten older, like and especially as things have happened in my life where I don't really have people that like I hug very often or like have physical touch with or would have physical touch with very often, like I love a good hug. I'm a big hugger. I long for physical touch a lot more now because of the circumstances that have changed in my life, like family wise and stuff like that. So like talk it out. I don't think this is worth like ending a friendship. I think, again, both of you are going through a lot. Like one is losing, potentially it sounds like losing a family member, that you both, you and your partner care about. And then Ellie, your friend, is like losing a relationship, which is also very, very hard and very heavy and potentially traumatizing, So yeah, I don't think you're the asshole, but I do think that there needs to be a discussion. I'm a big proponent of communication and talking things out, and I think I want people to be friends, and I think sometimes you can't be friends always, and it's fine if that is a conclusion you come to, but I do think talking it out and like really giving her the benefit of the doubt is what's best in this situation. So I'm gonna go edit this. I know I talked a lot, but I had so much to say. I always do, period. If you like this episode, please actually like it with your fingers, physically like it, and follow me on Instagram at Worthy of Note Pod. Or if you wanted to follow me on my personal account at Lauren J. Carlton, both of those are going to be available in the show notes. Also, update, I have been approved for Apple Podcasts. Fun fact, I realized that I was confused as to why it wasn't showing up, but then I realized I didn't take it out of the drafts, so I didn't press submit. So that's my fault. My bad. All my Apple listeners. So now you can actually listen to Apple if you would like to listen, but chances are if you're listening to it on Spotify podcasts, you're probably not going to listen to it. I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't know who you are. Do what you want. So this is going to be available on Apple Podcasts, and which is great. So go ahead and listen to there if you would like. And yeah, with all of that being said, I will see you guys next week. Bye bye.